What is up, everybody? Welcome to this week's episode of the Dense Pixels podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Brad, joined by my co-host, Micah.
Hey, Brad. Look, I know you don't celebrate in the death and resurrection of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, because Brad does not believe in zombies.
Correct.
But I do. I had a decent Easter cooked for the family. I make some mean Brussels sprouts, and we went to the White House today for the Easter egg roll. And I'm never doing it again. I told my wife. We took my eldest son and dumped the baby off at daycare, and I said, well, son number one is going to have many more experiences that son number two just is not going to have.
It's a pretty full house there, yeah? There for that event?
Yep. We had to get there 45 minutes before our entry time. Our entry time was 9 o'clock. We got there at 8:16. And we didn't get to the actual roll. The first thing that we did was the Easter egg roll, and we didn't get there until about noon. We were just standing in line for hours and hours and hours with a toddler. And it's not it wasn't fun. It was fun while we were there. It was cool to see Biden come out and, glad hand and, finger gun and all that. It's the closest. You should have saw him, man. He's out there taking selfies with people like this. It was funny, man. But it was the closest I've ever been to the White House. It makes me really want to do a White House tour. Yeah, it was cool, man. I got to be a tourist in my own city for a while.
Very cool.
And yeah, it was cool.
If I had known that Thugs of News' remote correspondent was going to be on the scene, we could.
I really wanted to get him to record to say like, "This is President Joe Biden. And listen, look for." I can't do it. But I would have if I got close enough. I would have. And he'd
Hilarious.
Done it too.
All right, so let's offend as many people as possible real quick before we get into the nitty gritty. So, how does Jesus get into the cave? Because he's nailed on the cross. Like, do they wait till he's dead and then they take him down and then just kind of toss the body in the cave? Do they put him in the cave with the cross and he manages to get off of the cross while he's in the cave as well? Like,
From what I understand, they head up to Calvary. They have the three plus signs up there, the three lowercase t's. They throw them up there. They let them die, and then they take them off and just kind of this ain't no good, and then just throw them in the cave.
The old heave ho. So.
Yeah, they give them the old heave ho, and then 72 hours later, a rock opens up and.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Like, if you're just throwing a dead body in the cave, why do you need to have the rock in front of it? See, the story gets more suspect.
No, man. Look. If you got a dead body, why you got to cover it up with dirt? If you throw a dead body in the ground, why you got to cover it up with dirt? You don't want to look at it.
It's true. It's a fair point. They could have buried him in the cave, though. I don't know. I did see a picture, like a piece of art that had Jesus in it, and he was wearing a cross necklace, and I'm just like, well, that seems not well thought out.
Yeah, man, that doesn't. That's not really. That's essentially like the murder weapon.
Yeah, right? He's a seer. Look at that.
Yeah. Nobody. Victims of Jason Voorhees don't wear machete.
Right. He's playing real life Clue. He's like, it's gonna be like Judas with the cross on top of the hill. That's
right. Like, come on, man. It's very odd.
Oh my god.
But he's the reason you're here, so you're welcome.
Look, happy Easter, everybody. I celebrated the way that secular Americans know how, and that's to spend time with my family and win money inside of a ghetto money booth thing. I won $82 yesterday. Yesterday.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Now, when you say a ghetto money thing, I'm thinking like a giant phone booth with money just blowing around in
Yes.
it.
So replace phone booth with like
pod.
standing like tent
It's a weather pod.
thing. It's a weather pod, is what my wife is telling me off camera. It's a weather pod. So replace phone booth with weather pod and replace like base fan with two leaf blowers being stuck into one end or the other, and then that's what's happening.
I take it this was at a fair, or is that just something?
No,
that,
my cousin goes all out for Easter. Like she invents like fun games. There's the adult Easter egg hunt.
Man.
You know, like you have to get one of the special eggs to be able to participate in like the grand prize game, and the special egg has a $10 bill and it has a question inside of it, and you have to pay to get into the game essentially based on the answer of your question. So my question is, how many legs are in your house? And I said, well, I need clarification on the question.
Yeah,
Are we just talking about
chairs?
Yeah, I was gonna say, are we just talking about living organism legs, or are we talking about anything that is designated a leg? She said anything. I said, okay, that's a lot of legs. Like that's 59 legs. Like I don't know if I'm gonna pay you $59 to get in. She's like, well, I'll cap your entry fee at 20, but because 59 legs was the answer, I got 59 seconds inside of the Ghetto Money booth. So
Oh snap!
that's how I got the $82.
Well, I need to be invited to one of these things where they're giving away free money. I grew up in Pikesville. I know the value of a dollar,
Yeah.
especially when it's free.
So that was my Easter yesterday. So again, had a very grand secular time on the holiest of holidays.
There you go.
So, like I said, light news week. There's really only two stories to talk about, and then I'm going to talk about a new game that I've been playing as well. There's a report that's out there that Sony is getting ready to dive back into the handheld gaming market. But if you're thinking Vita 2, pump the brakes, because the reported handheld software that they're going to come out with is essentially the PlayStation equivalent of like the Wii U gamepad of sorts. Basically, the report says that Sony is developing a remote device that can be used to play remote play games from your PlayStation 5, but it will not be able to play games on its own and will require a constant internet connection. Couple of the reported features of this is going to be adaptive triggers, speakers, 3.5 millimeter audio jack, and the screen will support 1080p resolution at 60 FPS. No word of whether it would support the cloud gaming that Sony has made available with the PlayStation Plus extra and premium tiers. I feel like without that cloud gaming, I don't like. For me personally, there's not a whole lot of interest here.
Yeah, there's not a lot of interest here for me either. I use the remote play function if I'm playing in hyper specific situations, and those are incredibly few and vastly far between. So, yeah, I mean, I kind of would rather them just have another Vita, but at the same time, like, the Steam Deck is something that, like, it would have to rival that, right?
Right.
Like, it would have to, and there's no way that I can think of that it can.
No, I don't think that they would want to spend the development dollars behind building such a device, and B, that it would be that tempting of a consumer item, considering how much the price tag would have to be around it. Because you have to consider, like, if the Steam Deck starting price point is what, $399, if I'm not mistaken, and that's just for like the base, the bare bones 64 gig model. So like you have to imagine, if you are Sony, that you'd want at least like a 512 gig kind of deal, and that would run $500, which is as much as a PlayStation 5 costs.
Right.
So yeah, and this is a curious device. I'd be very interested to see what the price point is, because I feel like that there is a price point that you could put on it where you say, all right, this is going to cost, $150. Does 1080p. You can do remote play, maybe cloud stream. I think that has to be present in order to get people to really buy in on this. And 1080p 60, I'd imagine a screen that's going to be bigger than your phone. Maybe do like a iPad size screen. Maybe that might be too big. Maybe like an iPad mini.
Like an iPad mini,
Yeah,
sure.
size screen. 150, I think you can get people to buy in on that. I think you can get people to jump.
I mean, not much more than that,
Yeah.
and even then, that's for people who just like need to have it.
Yeah. Well, my point is you have to give people an experience that's better than their phone because I can already do remote play for PlayStation on my phone and I have a backbone controller and that works great. So like I wouldn't need such a thing because, like you, my opportunities for remote play are so scarce that I can't imagine forking over a ton of money to do a device, for a device that specifically does remote play.
Yeah, yeah, man. Like you said, you've already got a backbone, which is what
Hmm.
$100.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know, and and those aren't those like officially licensed by Sony.
Yeah. There, there,
So
there's even there's even a PlayStation themed version of the backbone that's out.
yeah, you're right. It would have to be something bigger than your phone.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, maybe 150 if it's like an iPad size.
Yeah.
But you could just have it in like your bedroom or whatever if you really gotta like grind or something right before bed. But um, yeah, I don't know. This doesn't seem like a cool idea to me.
Yeah. So, well, more to come, I'm sure. This is rumored to be dropping alongside of the rumored detachable disk drive that Sony is also apparently developing. So, we will see what comes of this mythical device that has been the talk of the town for the last couple of days. In terms of games that I've been playing, I beat Ys Origins as I talked about a couple weeks ago. I started playing Ys VIII, Lacrimosa of Dana, which is really fun. This is one of the newer games in the series. It's one of their first forays into like a 3D style action game. It has a little bit more of an open world element to it. Not like a true open world, but like like a EA style open world sort of thing going on with it. And I gotta tell you, the game's really fun. These are great, kind of like turn your brain off and just kind of hit things with weapons and special skill attacks types of games. The characters in the game are quite endearing. Falcom does a pretty decent job at making characters that are, at least expressive and that you enjoy spending time with in these games. And like I said, it's a nice palate cleanser because we got serious summer coming up with Diablo 4 and Final Fantasy 16 and and some other games that have more serious tones. So I'm vacuuming up all the lightheartedness that I can in these games before we embark on the very gothic dark Diablo 4 and the very serious and political Final Fantasy 16 that are both coming out in June.
Don't forget the documentary on violence that is Street Fighter Six.
That's right.
Yeah, is anything coming out in May? I mean, I guess technically, like since Star Wars is coming out at the end of this month, that'll take me through
I mean,
May.
there's a small indie title from Nintendo that's coming out in May that a few people care about.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
It's coming out in May?
yeah, it's
That's
coming
how.
out coming
I,
out May 12th.
yeah, that's how much I. That's how much I. That game is just off my radar, man. Wow, wow.
couple
I
couple couple
legitimately didn't know
hardcores
that.
will be buying that one. I'm sure it'll sell couple 100,000 copies.
Is that why Carrie has said, "Oh, I'm probably not going to be on for a while," just to
she
kind
just
of get us?
she's running all of her personal life errands so that she can dedicate unlimited time to Zelda. For she'll go off the grid for 2 weeks and
That's funny.
just play Tears of the Kingdom. I keep wanting to call it Breath of the Wild too. That's how ingrained the new name is on my psyche.
Have you? So you've played Breath of the Wild, right?
Oh,
Like,
I played I put about 50 hours into Breath of the Wild. I got to the point where I could go to beat it. I just never actually bothered to go to the castle and finish the game. But I did all the four of the like divine beasts and got all those powers and got myself powered up and all that jazz.
is Tears of the King? Two questions.
Hmm.
One, what is the Breath of the Wild? And two, are you excited for Tears of the Kingdom? Another question. What is what are the Tears of the Kingdom?
Well, I suppose we'll find out, or it'll just be an ambiguous title like Breath of the Wild is, where I guess the Breath of the Wild is just like the calling of nature and just being able to run in the wilderness or whatever. I don't know.
That does
Um,
sound like something Nicolas Cage would say instead
yeah,
of Call of the Wild. He would be like,
yeah.
"It's the breath of the wild." Like, all right, dude, all right.
I'm like you. I'm not like chomping at the bit for this sequel. Like it's probably something that I'm going to play at some point, but I don't know that it's going to be a day one purchase for me. To be honest with you.
I can't believe I did not know when the goddamn Zelda game is coming out. Wow.
Yeah. Well, and it doesn't help that my wife has basically commandeered my Switch at this point because she is as we speak, she is embarking on the final dungeon in Final Fantasy VII, and is ready to lay waste to Sephiroth.
Your wonderful wife, who is salt of the earth, and I love her every day because she, as you quoted, completely no sold Aerith's death.
She did.
That
I
is
was right next to her. I knew it was going to happen, so I saddled up next to her just to get her reaction, and she was just stone faced. I was like, man, I was like, I can't believe you did have regular reaction. She's like, she was really annoying. I didn't care. I didn't care for her.
thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
I swear the only reason people were broken up about it is because they spec'd her out to be their only healer
Hmm.
and didn't have a contingency, or they're afraid of strong women, so they don't like Tifa. Nah,
It's
yo, Aerith, that didn't do anything for me.
it's
Didn't
it's
do anything.
interesting because I think I've unlocked like a secret, like lockpicked a secret like genre that she's into with turn-based RPGs because it speaks to she enjoys the parts of the game that are much more mundane because of the types of stuff that she plays. Like she's a big Animal Crossing fan. She plays like Cozy Grove and a lot of these like lifestyle simulators. And so like for her like to go grinding in the open world for an hour is no big deal. And so like she has all of her characters like up in the like low 70s, and she's got all the ultimate limit breaks equipped and all
Jeez.
that shit. I'm just like, wow, so you're beating this game much more thoroughly than I ever did when I played
Is
it back
she
in the day.
is she going to try and fight the weapons?
No, I don't think she has any interest in that very much. I told her, I was like, look, you're like, if you want to fight those things, like, you're probably gonna pretty much have to get to damn near max level and have a shitload of materia mastered and stuff like that. She's like, I just want to beat the game and
Yeah.
call it a day. So I guess we'll check back next week to see if she was successful. Like I said, she's playing it right now.
What is
So,
her opinion of Sephiroth? That
oh,
is what I
she
want to know.
she thinks him and Cloud are both big whiny emo babies.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, yeah.
she's right where you want her to be in terms of like the jaded, uh, you know, jaded onlooker. Even though it is her first Final Fantasy game, she's right where we are with those characters.
Good. You know what? Good. She's well adjusted and normal. She's not trying to ship these two whiny, shirtless, smooth boys together. Um, that she realizes that one is a lame amnesiac and the other is a lame test tube baby that found out he was a test tube baby. There's nothing wrong with being a test tube baby. You don't have to try and destroy the planet because of it. So yeah, good, good. I'm glad.
Yes.
Uh,
So now she got to figure out what's next. Like I have a list for her of suggested games, and I told her, I was like, you should check these out and see which one speaks to you the most, and we'll go from there and see if there's any games that strike her fancy that she might get into. So
Excellent.
yep.
Well, look, here's what you can get into. densepixels.com/fans. Go there, get invited to our Discord, talk about a lot of stuff. Like if you want to interact with the show every week, you can go to our post office and just type whatever you want us to talk about, and we'll talk about it. You want to talk about the things that happened during the episode? Go ahead. There's a channel for that. You're looking for a group? Go ahead. There's a channel for that. There's a channel for wrestling. Brad and I we talk about wrestling every once in a while when it comes up and when it's like, worth talking about.
Mm-hmm.
General gaming news. Key 3. Look, go to densepixels.com/fans. We have a good time in the Discord. Go to youtube.com/densepixels. Like this episode. As a matter of fact, go back to every other episode and hit the like button. And then when you're done that, hit the subscribe button so you can do it for every episode in the future. And subscribe to all of our podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts, including the Nerdpocalypse, Black on Black Cinema, Coming Distractions, the weekly preview episode of the Look Forward Political Podcast.
I don't have an answer for that. Is there something else I can help with?
I didn't ask you, Siri.
Of course, you have the British Siri on your device.
Of course, it hits the ear better. This American woman. No, I ain't got that. Like, no. Okay. Quiet. Go to touchpixels.com/premium for $5 a month or $50 for 4 years. You get access to all of the podcasts that we have ever done on our premium podcast feed, including The Airing of Grievances, No Time to Bleed, The Men with the Golden Tongues, Upstage Conversation, and the full hour and a half to 2 hour episode of the Look Forward Political Podcast. I accidentally jumped on there one day last week, but you didn't hear me. I don't know why Jay let me in. Then I realized, oh crap, they're doing a show. I wanted to stay on, but we had.
Oh, you did? I didn't even notice you pop in. Like he said Terrence was in the green room when we were done, but I didn't even notice you pop in the feed at all, which is very funny to me. So.
Yeah, so that's the last thing I need is my dumb ass on there. Giving opinions and shit.
Oh my goodness.
What do you think of the political climate? And it was like, I don't know. Wuzzle?
So one of these trends that we've seen in gaming recently that arguably is more disgusting to me than just having microtransactions in the games, because like we're at the point now, like, we're all used to microtransactions. We've acquiesced to them being in the game. Just don't make them too, don't lock necessary content behind them. Don't make them too egregious. Make them reasonably priced, and give people the option. But we've accepted that they're there. It's a part of gaming now. I'm not having that fight anymore. The fight that I will continue to have is what we've been seeing companies do more and more over the past several years. I call this the Activision special, because they're the ones that seem to do it the most, where a game will launch and it will have no microtransactions in it. And then that way, when the game as reviewed, doesn't have microtransactions, and all that's there is the positive buzz. And then like 2 to 4 weeks after release, like a Trojan horse, the fucking Spartan army pops out or whatever, and says, "Oh, surprise! Like, we're here, motherfuckers! Like we got microtransactions coming out for you." But the good reviews are still out there, and the reviewers don't have a chance to truly comment about your microtransactions in a way that would be impactful towards the success of your game. It's kind of like how the incorrect story always runs on page 1 and the correction is buried on page 17 or whatever, or the old adage as that goes. Mm-hmm. The latest game to participate in these shenanigans, in this tomfoolery, is none other than Resident Evil 4. of all fucking games, has Trojan horse microtransactions into the game. So the game came out 2 weeks ago. They dropped an update today with the free Mercenaries DLC mode. But alongside of that, there are microtransactions that are there to give players, quote, access to a weapon's exclusive upgrade at any time. You can get for $2.50 or $2.49 exclusive upgrade tickets that you can buy if you want to upgrade your weapons faster than you can in the game. And what I really enjoy about this is the quote, and I'm going to read this quote verbatim, and I want you to just listen to the shit in this quote. With this, you'll have access to a weapon's exclusive upgrade at any time, regardless of the weapon's level. Not only that, but once unlocked, the upgrade itself is free of charge. Now, of course, they're referring to free of charge in terms of in-game currency, not in, actual real money that people can spend.
Yeah, once you buy it, it's free.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Again, this microtransaction itself is harmless. Resident Evil 4, of course, is a single-player game. The only person who benefits from the experience, like there's no detriment to anyone's experience by you purchasing this upgrade. If you want to get a weapon upgrade super fast and you think it's worth $2.50 of your hard-earned money to save time in the game, that's your prerogative. I'm not going to stand here and stop you. Michael, what do you think about this constant, though, just kind of shoehorning these things in after the dust has settled, when the time for scrutiny has passed?
I think it's shrewd. I get to be perfectly honest with you, and it's not surprising if you have played any Capcom game recently.
Mm-hmm.
They do this all the time, and this is the type of microtransaction that they have. I guess this works because they do this type of microtransaction a lot. This very little, like, $2 here, $3 here, nickel and dime, like. And it's usually to get you more money, more in-game money. It's they have nailed the phone game microtransaction thing, right? Low cost to give you something that you can already earn, but you don't have to. It's for some reason, to me, this is not as well. It is. It's like Ubisoft's, like, time saver stuff. It's exactly like that. And with this, it's a little more like, with this, it's weird because it's like, well, with Devil May Cry, it was really bad because Devil May Cry, they give you the option to buy red orbs, like the currency that falls on the ground every time you kill an enemy, right? Like, so that's weird, right? Like, you're literally just telling me that I can buy more of the thing that I'm earning in the game. With Resident Evil 4, it's a little different. If you really want it, like, I get it, because you have to. It's a lot to upgrade certain weapons, right? You got to find the weapon, you got to upgrade every aspect of it, which costs a lot of money. And then once you upgrade every aspect of it, then you unlock the special ability or whatever, which also costs a ton of money. So you have to really love that weapon. And if you don't want to do that, I get it. But at the same time, this is like, being dropped into, like, a Call of Duty or something with your entire. This is like being power leveled, right? Like, if you are in an MMO and you are power leveled, yeah, you got all your abilities, but you don't know what to do. Right? Like, you don't know how to be a proper tank and hold hate if you just have all your abilities and you didn't have to, like, ease yourself into it. So look, I'm not going to sit here and chastise people because I buy microtransactions, right? Like, there's no way I would have gotten through Assassin's Creed Odyssey without buying that time.
Well, and again, like I think that's more egregious because of the way the game was paced. Like it almost incentivized you
Yeah.
to
Oh,
buy
of
that
course.
because there were gates in the story that if you were under leveled, you were going to have a really tough time. So it's, hey, either grind for a couple hours or, or just, hey, give us $10 and forever you will earn more XP all the time,
Right.
and your levels will be bountiful. So
Right. So look, I'm not gonna. I buy DLC. I buy DLC all the time. I do. But it's for people that like have no impulse control. And I mean, like real, like no people who lack impulse control. Like I lack impulse control, but like to a point, right? Like I'm not, I'm not, I'm not that bad. But for people who like impulse control, it's kind of insidious, man. It's I get it. But at the same time, like I'm part of the problem because
and
like I've bought some of this shit before.
and to be fair, like I haven't seen how this is implemented in the game. Like if you have to actually go out of your way to find it, or like it's only accessible through like a DLC menu from the main menu, that's probably okay. If like every time you go to the fucking merchant, he's like, "Oh, what do you buy?" And like, "Would you like to buy this microtrans?" Like if he's like shoving it in your face every fucking time, I might have a bit of a bigger issue with it.
To be perfectly honest with you, I did not know that this was a thing until I saw that it was a thing online.
Okay, so that's good.
So yeah, they're not like advertising it, but when you go to like on your PlayStation 5 and you highlight the game and then if you give it a second, it'll show you everything that's available for that game. That's when you see it. But
Okay.
you generally have to go to a menu to, hey, here's the PlayStation Store. Do you want to go to the store? Right? Like then
Okay.
it takes you out of the store and all that. But
And also be fair to
menu-
Capcom, like the ones in Monster Hunter also are not like in your face. Like there's a shitload of Monster Hunter has so many fucking packs that you can buy with like costumes and shit like that. But
yeah,
they're not like shoved at you in game at least. So
yeah. But look, I mean, if you're upset, I get it, right? Like I get it. I
I
completely
just don't like the
understand.
method. I just don't like the method. Like if you're gonna have microtransactions,
Yeah, just do
fine.
it.
Just put it in on day one and let reviewers be able to weigh them like weigh the overall product as an overall product. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I guarantee you for Resident Evil 4, it would not have even harmed it in the slightest.
Right.
Like you might have had a couple reviewers docket a couple arbitrary tenths or a couple arbitrary points out of 100 because just for having them in there, but it
Right.
still would have been one of the best reviewed games of the year because you probably would have said, yeah, there's microtransactions, but they don't, they're not necessary to the experience and they're not shoved at you, so it's fine.
Yeah. So,
It
but look,
it looks scummier when you do it this way.
it does, and get ready because this is going to be the new model,
Right.
right? Like this is going to be the thing that catches on. And they probably I can't remember when Resident Evil was released. They
Hmm.
probably won't wait that long. They probably won't wait as long. They'll probably introduce it like a week after.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. It is what it is, I guess. You know what else is what it is? I was a bad transition.
I was gonna say,
What
I was
are-
gonna tee you up by being like, oh, like how insidious! Like people just lull you in with just a great product and a great experience, then try to immediately turn around and fucking sell you something.
densepixels.com/Amazon. For all your Amazon purchases, go to densepixels.com/Amazon. What do I want to? What should we type in
Oh
the
Lord.
search bar for densepixels.com/Amazon? Because people don't want to hear about buying Huggies and
Oh, I've been hiding I've been hiding the Amazon list from my wife here lately because I haven't told you yet. I bought the PC. That's what happened. So now I'm
of
waiting.
course, of course.
Now I'm waiting for it to be built. But now Amazon's like, hey, like, what you were looking for the other day? You need a nice new monitor to go with that new PC, don't you? Like, so like here's all these monitors that we can sell you. And I'm like, I don't want my wife to see this. It's like she'll find out when it shows up on our doorstep. Like that. Like that's when she'll discover what I've been looking at on Amazon.
That's hilarious. Let's see. Let's type in monitor. There you go. When you go to densepixels.com/Amazon and you type in monitor, let's just click the 200 and above button. This is how you help us. You go to densepixels.com/Amazon, you type in monitor, and then you type in 200 and above. That's how you help us. When you go to densepixels.com/Amazon and type in monitor and click 200 and above, you can get yourself an Alienware AW3423DW gaming monitor, 34.2 inches, a resolution 3440 by 1440. It's curved. It's adaptive sync technology. It's got adjustability in height, swivel, tilt, and slant. And you can get this Prime 2-day shipping when you go to densepixels.com/Amazon for $1,198.85.
I'm not spending that much money on a monitor.
Or you can give Amazon $100 a year, $100 a month for a year to find it. So you could just fuck your credit all up by opening a new credit card with.
No, I'm gonna spend less than half that on a new monitor. I don't need. I'm happy with 1440p, 144 hertz, adaptive sync or VSync or whatever syncs work with NVIDIA graphics cards. That's what I need, and then we'll be fine. So.
Oh man, this is a sad day. You went and bought a PC.
I did.
I guess this is just you're leaving. You're going off to fight the bad fight.
Look, I'm still going to keep my PS5. Like there's experiences on the PlayStation 5 that I just can't get anywhere else. Like what am I going to do with that?
I mean, you can if you wait long enough. Apparently.
Well, I mean, like I said, God help us all if Gran Turismo 7 ever comes out, ever comes to PC. Because at that point, it's just like, man, like, what am I even doing with this device, this box sitting over here?
Are you going to stream more if you once you get that PC?
I was thinking about that. It could just because it's so much easier. Like right now, it's such a hassle. Yeah. And the other problem is like so the real secret problem with the Mac, right, is that all of the like main streaming platforms work like shit. Like Slobs works terribly on Mac. OBS doesn't work as well on Mac. So like it's such a fucking chore. And like the PC that I got, like it's spec'd out pretty nice. Like it's pretty good. Like I didn't go too crazy, but I got a good deal on like I'm getting like a 4070 Ti graphics card and like fucking like it's got like 32 gigs of RAM and all this other stuff. So like I feel like that I could stream without too much of a problem. So I probably will do it more. Than I'm doing it right now. So
well, as Boys to Men once said, it is so hard to say goodbye to yesterday. It has been quite the experience. Now I'm going to see you slowly turn. You're gonna thumb your nose up at me
no. What's gonna happen is you're gonna hear me bitch about all like the ancillary, like dumb stuff that comes with PC, and then like I said, God help me if like my graphics card ever goes up one day, or like the power supply fries and I have to buy a new one and then install the motherfucker myself. Like that's gonna be like when you see me like kirk out on this.
Yeah, stuff. You're gonna be pissed because you're gonna have to slum it with the rest of us slovenly assholes that have giant plastic boxes sitting underneath their TVs.
By the way, I had no idea that graphics cards nowadays were like as big as they are. Do you know how big these fucking things are? They're huge.
Are they?
Yeah, they're enormous. They're like the fucking like the graphics card and all the PC people are laughing at me talking about this, but it's new to me. Damn it! Like I'm fascinated by this
Uh,
stuff.
how are they in relation? How big are they in relation to a standard envelope?
Much larger. Like they're thicker.
Mm.
They're thicker and they're a little bit larger. Like Micah, the graphics cards literally has fans built inside of the graphics card itself. Like it's got three little fans that are powered by the graphics card that you need it to run because otherwise it'll overheat because it's just putting out so much power.
Jesus.
And that's in addition to the rest of the fans that are in the case.
God damn.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Carrie's sitting at home. Of course it is, dingus. Like, oh, okay. All right.
So I'm excited though. Like I said, it should be here in like 2 weeks. So I'm looking forward to getting it and finally getting off of Mac OS, which is annoying as shit compared to Windows. And really, I didn't find it annoying until I started using Windows in my day job all the time, and I'm like, why the fuck am I using this fucking terrible operating system? It's so bad. We go to the post office where you guys can submit your questions by being a part of our Discord by going to densepixels.com/fans and posting in there, much like Clay7926 did, where they ask any thoughts on the WWE sale, where the gaming license could go, and other wrestling talk. I believe Endeavor will find a way to Ted Turner, Vince McMahon, right out of the WWE running. Let's adjust the last point first. I guarantee that Vince McMahon put contingencies in the deal that require them to keep him as part of like the WWE side of things until he decides that he wants to leave. Like I'd imagine the way the contract, the way the agreement was written, it's gonna be very hard to get him out.
Yeah, I can't imagine. Vince McMahon's he's no dummy, right? You may not like him, but no one's ever called that man dumb. He's not like just some rich, bumpkin from Georgia or whatever Ted Turner is.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not like a rich kid playing promoter. No offense to Tony Khan. I don't think Tony Khan has the stomach for this yet.
Mm-hmm.
Vince McMahon, I mean, he's like Bane. He was born in this darkness, right? Like so yeah, I don't think he's going anywhere anytime soon unless, force majeure happens.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so yeah, he's not going anywhere. Now the game, I think that this isn't necessarily like a sale.
Mm-hmm.
From what I understand, it's more of like a merger.
Yeah, it's more of a merger. I mean, like Endeavor's the parent company, but WWE like is going to be run almost like an independent entity. Like very little is changing day to day, at least at first. Like it's probably going to take a long time to really see changes. I think where you're going to see changes is more like crossover partnership potential between WWE and UFC. I'm very interested to see what the new TV rights package looks like, because if the rights go away from NBC Universal, then I'll be very curious to see how that relates with Peacock, because WWE Network, is kind of integrated with Peacock hand over fist. But I could see Endeavor, because doesn't UFC have like UFC like Fight Pass or something stupid like that?
They have a couple different deals. I think they have one with ESPN also, right?
Okay.
Like they can, where you can, if you have ESPN Plus, you can watch all the UFC pay-per-views or something like that. So
Gotcha.
it's a little like, it's complicated.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I'm afraid of, because I'm used to paying $10 a month for Peacock and get wrestling, right? I don't want to have to not get wrestling, because there's stuff on Peacock that my wife likes, so I have to keep Peacock. But I don't want to not have wrestling also.
Yeah, and I'm in the same boat, because I originally got Peacock even before WWE Network for soccer. So like I'm gonna have to keep Peacock anyway. So like you, I'd rather not have to pay an additional $10 a month for my wrestling. It's nice that it's already there. So that's what I'm more interested in. Yeah, the video game deal, I think they're perfectly happy with how 2K is operating that right now, especially considering that 22 and now 23 like have rebounded in terms of just being a good game especially compared to the debacle that was 20, where they literally had to skip a year because 20 was so bad that they needed to go back to the drawing board. So I don't think you're going to see much change on that front unless 2K decides that they don't want to publish have the license anymore to publish it, and then they'll go shopping. And I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, if that arrangement being there eventually got UFC in under 2K in some way, shape, or form as well, because EA hasn't put out a UFC game in a couple of years at this point, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll see. Like I said, I am very curious to see what, if anything, changes, but I think you won't see much for the first little bit. We'll jump to Cam, who asked the WWE draft. It's coming up after Backlash. Who would you draft at number 1?
I mean, you have to draft the guy that's got the belts, right? like that's. So I'm assuming he's thinking besides the champions, right? Like, cause
well, maybe, right? Because so the thing with Roman Reigns is that if let's assume wrestling's real, and and you're actually making a educated choice. Is Roman Reigns really worth the number 1 pick? Because picking Roman Reigns number 1, to me, and I'm going to make a baseball comparison, which I know is going to fly completely over your head, but
like Superman.
But to me, drafting Roman Reigns number 1 overall is like paying a starting pitcher like $40 million a season. Like 1 out of every 5 days, that dude's going to be amazing, but the other 4 days, he's not going to have an impact on your team because he's not pitching. Whereas I'd rather spend that money on an outfield player that's playing every day, that's getting 4 to 5 at bats a game, and doing all that stuff. So Roman Reigns isn't on TV every week. He's not the workhorse. He's the dude, and he'll bring in the big numbers, but he's not there every single week in and week out driving that product.
Well, then I have my answer.
Who's that? Are you gonna steal it from me? Are you gonna steal my pick from me?
I got to tell you, man, I think Seth Rollins is one of the best
interesting.
professional wrestlers out there. I think I think what he's doing with this, I'm this weird, eccentric, G-rated Joker thing is kind of odd, but I think he is. Of course, he has the in-ring acumen. He's got the look. He's not like a huge he's like a Shawn Michaels light.
Mm-hmm.
And he can go with the best of them. And for some reason lately, I feel like he's been a better Dolph Ziggler.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That guy, Dolph Ziggler, had everything except the only thing he had was a dumb name. but he could do anything physically, he could do anything you ask him to do. But I guess he just didn't resonate with the crowd. And Seth Rollins can do that and resonate with the crowd.
Yeah.
So,
Dolph Ziggler's problem is that he works best as an underdog, and whenever he got on top, he just didn't have the same cachet. You know what I mean? So, my number 1 pick would be Gunther right now. I think that dude's about to have the fucking rocket strapped to him, the proverbial rocket. So,
yeah, I agree. I just don't know. I'm going. If this was purely if this was AEW, I would say 100%, right? Because they put a little more. They claim to be a little more sports oriented, whereas Gunther he's a phenomenal talent, and I love watching that guy work. But I don't know if he's sports entertaining.
Yeah, but the very little we've seen of him with promo work, I think has worked pretty well. And I think the fact that he has Imperium with him is a boon as well. That's the thing that I don't like about the draft. I the thing that I despise about the draft is they always have to go out of their way to break up stables even in cases where we're not quite ready for the stable to be broken up. Like when Big E got pulled away from New Day, that made sense because Big E was ready to embark on the singles career, and it was time to make that jump. But there are plenty of other times where they've done it just to do it. You know what I mean? And it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah, like didn't they do that with Heavy Machinery? I mean, that
They
worked
they,
out for
they
one of
did it
them.
with them. I mean, they did it with the Dudley Boys way back when. Like the Dudley Boys had not even come close to growing stale, and they
Yeah.
split those guys up, and then we got Reverend Devon and this other bullshit.
It was Deacon Batista though.
Right, and like my fear is that they're gonna pull Rhea Ripley from Judgment Day, for example, and I think she still works well in the dynamics with that group, and I think that group could really be something if they bothered to get behind them and push them.
Who does that hurt more? The 3 members of the Judgment Day or Rhea Ripley?
Oh, it hurts the 3 members of the Judgment Day more, I think.
That's my thinking.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if Rhea is, but I don't know if Rhea is 100% like your solid like heel champion. Like
Yeah.
she is, right? But she looks better with those, 3 cronies behind her.
Yeah,
Whereas if she goes, yeah, those guys are just like dead in the water
right.
because like they're not like Dominic is literally only interesting because of Rhea Ripley and the whole like mommy thing, right? And which is another reason why Finn should have won at WrestleMania and not fucking Edge. But all right, whatever. Yeah. Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
God damn.
So, like I said, the draft's always one of those things that always seems cool on the surface, and then I always get upset after it happens because it's just like you made a lot of changes that you just did just for, and plus, what does the draft even mean anymore? There's people from Raw and SmackDown every week. There's people from SmackDown on Raw. Like it doesn't actually mean anything. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Mark asks, solely based on their game releases, which developers have fallen from grace the furthest, and which ones have redeemed themselves the most? So I guess we're looking at, like developers whose game releases have hurt their cachet, in the mainstream.
I mean, in the mainstream, like people think BioWare have fallen off like hard, especially if you are like an old school PC BioWare fan. They're like, what the fuck is all this shooting shit, right?
I mean, I think with the last 2 releases specifically, you could make that argument that they're kind of in a valley right now. So
Yeah, look, I don't hate the newer BioWare games, but I certainly do prefer like where's my Jade Empire? Where's another Jade Empire game? Where is it? I really enjoyed that game. And I don't know, man. I feel like I don't know where BioWare is going. Another company that it probably doesn't pertain to this question, but a company whose journey I find very interesting is Obsidian, because they've always been like they've always had games that were kind of second fiddle to the original, right? Like if BioWare made Knights of the Old Republic, right? Obsidian made Knights of the Old Republic 2. It's fine, but it's not Knights of the Old Republic, right? They made like Alpha Protocol. It was fine. Like I think I'm a little biased because I like, spy shit, right? It's an espionage RPG, for God's sakes. Then they come out with Fallout New Vegas, which, look, I'm not a Fallout person, but apparently Fallout New Vegas it just blew everyone away.
yeah,
And then they have stuff like Dungeon Siege, where it's like Dungeon Siege 3. Okay, it's all right. But then you have stuff like The Outer Worlds and Pentiment.
Pentiment almost doesn't count. Like Pentiment was a passion project made by a small team, so I don't like. I understand Obsidian developed it, but I wouldn't put that in their catalog.
Okay, but they have I think Obsidian has a very interesting track record.
Yeah.
Whereas if I saw the Obsidian logo at one point, I would just like turn away, like
Yeah.
whatever. But I don't have that reaction anymore.
So on the flip side, I think someone who has elevated themselves, and not that they were ever in a bad place, but like From Software was always considered just like this like non-entity because they made like Armored Core games and they made these like very bespoke, like action role playing games. Then Demon Souls came out, and then that caught a lot of people's attention. And then Dark Souls came out, and that was a vast improvement. And they haven't all been like it has been a direct upward trajectory. I think most people you talk to will tell you that Dark Souls 2 was not very good compared to Dark Souls 1, but it seems like for the most part that their cachet grows with every new game, and they somehow manage to top themselves every time. Like Bloodborne, is still many people's favorite FromSoft game. That came out 8 years ago at this point. And then like Elden Ring was this game that was like hyped to the gills and to a level that became impossible to like live up to expectations. And yet it did. And still maybe perhaps exceeded the like the lofty expectations. And that doesn't happen very often. And along the way, like the group of people who play these games just continues to grow. Like they're not. I don't know anyone out there. And I'm sure there's a few. I'm sure there's a few contrarians out there. But I don't know anyone out there who's like, man, like I really used to like From games. Like I fucking love the Dark Souls series. They fucking sold out with Elden Ring, dude. Like they're not the same From Software anymore. Like they fucking suck. Like no, they're retaining all of their previous fans, and they're just gaining new fans. I mean, we talked about on the last pod or 2 pods ago, Micah never touched a FromSoft game in his life. Well, actually, that's not true. He played Sekiro and got bodied.
Yeah, it was just like nope.
But you were just like, oh, these games aren't for me. Puts 150 hours into Elden Ring, and it's just like, holy shit! Like this is one of the best games I've ever fucking played. So
I bought that game just to be a part of like the zeitgeist. Like, why are people into this? Why? And when I first played it, I was just like, this is garbage. I hate this. and then 150 hours later, it's my game of the year for that year. So
yeah. I'm trying to think of anyone else that's like really like Blue Point. I think has grown their story with every game, like, and they were always the remake company, right? Like they would always do like the remasters and stuff like that, and they've now put out such good stuff that like now they're going to get a chance to make their own game. So like that's very interesting to see what happens with that once they get that opportunity. So I think they're a company that's or they're a developer that's grown in stature. Yeah, like that's kind of those are the ones that come to mind immediately. I'm trying to think of any other ones that have like really taken a tumble from grace that I can think of offhand, but nothing's jumping right to mind aside of the example that you mentioned. BioWare is probably the answer to that question, in all honesty.
Yeah.
T-Wash asks, what is a nerf to a character that still pisses you off? They say that there's a Sean Matsuda from Second Impact to Third Strike.
Was he good in Second Impact? I don't remember Sean being necessarily good in Second Impact. I always thought there's a quote from one of the producers where they said when they were designing Sean, he was meant to be a character that players picked when they were too good and wanted to give themselves a handicap. So I don't ever remember Sean being this awesome character that from one iteration of Street Fighter 3 to another iteration of Street Fighter 3, he got worse. I think he was always meant to be, a bit of a joke character. But yeah, I don't know. There have been not necessarily nerfs, but there have been changes to characters that I just didn't. That I personally don't like. I personally don't like when you mess with one of the charge characters in Street Fighter. And when Charlie was introduced in Street Fighter 5, I thought he was going to be the charge character, and Guile wasn't going to be in it. And then I played him, and I was just like, "What is this? What? You got half a face, and what is this weird stance? You still got that like weird hair." you play nothing like you used to. I was a little upset at that, but I don't know, man, because like nerfs hit characters all the time. Like they hit characters all the time, and they sometimes they're fixed, sometimes they're not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, not characters so much, but like back when I was playing Destiny like crazy, when they would nerf like certain guns or certain perks or certain archetypes, that would
Mhm.
always piss me off, especially if you were proficient in that. Like I don't remember exactly what happened now, but I remember around in year 2 of Destiny, there was a big change to like how hand cannons operated, and like they like I think they severely hit like high round per minute hand cannons and kind of buff like the lower ones, and I was more of a like a high round guy and like they
Yeah,
added like 140s into the mix, and I remember being a little annoyed about that because you had to completely change how you played the game essentially, because if you were used to using high fire rate hand cannons, then when they went to shit, you were just like, well, fucking A, like I gotta like let me try something else then, which I guess is also good because it keeps things from getting stale.
yeah,
But it's a bummer when when your favorite gun, takes a nosedive in a game like Destiny. So,
yeah.
and finally, Johnny says, "How much am I paying for the Final Fantasy Pixel remasters? $75, $60, $40." So I already own the Pixel remaster for Final Fantasy V on Steam, which I've been playing a little bit, and I paid how much did I pay for that? I want to say I paid 15 for that. Now here's the thing. I don't want to own all the Final Fantasy Pixel remasters. I'm perfectly happy owning 4, 5, and 6. So like I will pay whatever 4, 5, and 6 cost and call that a day. And then that's it.
Is this $75 for all of them?
It's for all 6, yeah. And I'm sorry, like some like 2
Right,
not worth
yo,
it.
like you're right. 1, 2, and 3 aren't worth it.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I don't know if I would. I would like to play 4 again because it's been a long time since I played 4. I
Micah,
barely remember it.
they fixed the fonts. That's what everyone's carrying on about. They fixed the fonts. Now there's a pixelated font in the Pixel remaster. That's what people were really
Oh
upset about. For
God.
look, I have the I guess old version, the old Pixel remaster of FF5. It's fine. Like I don't understand why. I guess I do understand why people were bent out of shape about it, but I don't understand why people are bent out of shape about it. Like the game still plays fine. It looks good.
Change.
The
I
music's still
like
there. They added
change.
some they add like particle effects and explosion effects for when things explode in the game, which I guess is kind of cool, but it's kind of like a watching the special edition of New Hope sort of thing. Where like when the
That's
Death Star explodes, they add like the fucking supernova ring
yeah.
that comes out from it, and it's
That's a
fine.
that's a wonderful analogy.
Yeah. So I don't understand why people got so bent out of shape about the original Pixel remasters. But no, I own 5. I will buy 4 and 6 one day, and then that's all I need because 1, 2, and 3. I've played 1 before. It's fine. 2 I've heard is legitimately not good, and then
No.
3 is a little too old school for my liking. So
Yeah. All
yeah.
right.
So that is it for the show this week. Like I said, a shorter news show. We still squeezed an hour out of this fucking orange. So
There you go. You're welcome.
professionals. Again, make sure you submit questions to the fan group by going to densepistols.com/fans and joining up in our Discord. Subscribe to this show as well as all the other TNP Studio shows wherever you download fine podcasts. You can go to youtube.com/densepixels and subscribe there as well. And then make sure you follow us all on Twitch. I am Dense Pixels Brad, Terrence is Apparition 410, Carrie is It's Carrie. See, that's the other thing too. If I start streaming again, do I do it on Twitch, where I already have my channel, but it's not very grown and curated, or do I just do it on YouTube? Because we already have the channel here. I don't know.
I don't know, man. Do it on YouTube, right? Like we
Yeah.
have this, and it can be, yeah, I would do it on YouTube. That way when I read these YouTube ads, I can feel good about it,
There you
right?
go.
Like I can, yeah, I would do it on YouTube.
Yes. And then we'll just tease you appearing on a stream one of these days.
Look, if you look, that's the only way you'll get me on a stream. If you get me on a stream, I will jump on a stream if my friends are on a stream, and we can just bullshit about video games. I will do that.
Street
But
Street
you're not
Fighter
just gonna.
Street Fighter 6 has cross platform play,
It
correct?
sure
All
does.
right.
It sure
I'm now debating which platform I'm going to get Street Fighter 6 on.
does. Oh
I feel I
man.
feel I feel like it's just going to be easier if I get it on PC.
I mean, look, you might as well. Like that's what all these other streamers do. Like they get all their games on PC so they can stream it, man.
Mike,
Like
Mike,
I
I
get it.
also need you, and again, normally we just say goodbye, but if you're sticking around past the ad reads at the end, you're going to get a special discussion as Micah tries to talk me out of buying a Hitbox when Street Fighter 6 comes out.
Um, a hitbox specifically or a level-less controller? Because hitboxes specifically
Mm-hmm.
are hard to come by now.
Oh, really?
Uh, yeah, and you don't want like the aftermarket.
No.
You don't want an aftermarket price for a hitbox. But there are a bunch of companies that make level-less controllers
Mm-hmm.
now. Um,
Are
look,
they quality? Are they up to the Hitbox
they're they're
standard?
de- they're decent.
Mm-hmm.
They're decent. They're not bad. I think Hitbox was the one that broke out,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that's why they're when it's like saying Xerox or
Oh,
Kleenex.
okay, I see.
So like they've branded themselves the controller to have. But plenty of people have um, other uh, level controllers by other companies. So look, I am not some sort of purist. Um, you don't play charge characters. That's really what this is about. Like,
Is it because it does seem like there's a benefit to Shoto characters as well because like I said it's very interesting that just because of the way Street Fighter and other fighting games are designed that the negative like the negative space between movements I feel like it can help you pull these moves off with more consistency than you can with an arcade stick. Now, of course, I'm proficient with the arcade stick. I've been using it for my entire goddamn life. The hitbox is really just more of a curiosity. I see that's my real weakness, Mike, is I see cool tech and I'm just like, that's really fucking interesting. I wonder what it would be like to use such a thing. And
well,
is it for me?
the reason I know that hitboxes are difficult to come by and are now you can now buy an official hitbox controller for about $400 in the
Whew.
aftermarket
Whew.
is because I was looking them up because
Okay,
I was
is
thinking,
Hitbox just not making them anymore? Or is the wait list so long that it's just like
let's see. There's one that is okay. It looks like they're back in stock for 250.
okay,
They're back in stock. Okay, they're back. Last time I checked, the actual website did not have them in stock. So the aftermarket was going for 350 to four hundred
I see.
dollars.
Well, see, and that's the problem is that I have to get it now because if I wait until Street Fighter 6 comes out, like they're going to be fucking
They're gonna be
gone
gone.
again. Yeah, like, undoubtedly. So yeah, I've been thinking about it for a while, but the other problem is the other thing that stopped me is I don't play enough fighting games. Like Street Fighter is my fighting game. Like I don't
Right.
fucks with Tekken and I don't I don't really play any of the other like Arxis games and things like that. So like I don't know if it's worth it just for Street
I
Fighter.
would not get it. I would not get it for one fighting game.
Yeah.
Like if you are going to get it, you would have to be excited for at least two fighting games to kind of make this thing worthwhile, especially because you already have a traditional controller and a fight stick. If you want, if you want to be real crazy,
Mhm.
you could see what it feels like to play a fighting game on on a keyboard. It won't give you the same feel.
Mhm.
It won't give you the same precision, but it'll give you a feel for how to kind of control things with all buttons. It's but yeah, I wouldn't do it. But you're Mr. Master Race PC guy now. So what's 250 to you when you just dropped $8 billion on a car?
Oh my god! Well, we'll see. More to come on if I get tempted by the whims of a Hitbox controller at some point.
Hitbox.
So.
If you get a Hitbox, Johnny might unsubscribe.
On that note, thank you very much for watching and listening, and we'll see you all the next time.
See ya.
You're watching the Dense Pixels YouTube channel. Click the subscribe button while you're here and make sure you check out our weekly podcast where we discuss the latest gaming news and our impressions on what games we've been playing.